Jason Rona back here in the JConcepts garage with a brand new product announcement. We got the Summit Racing Bigfoot 21 decal package for our new 2020 Raptor body. And as you can see here, this thing turned out amazing. We finally landed our licensing deal with Bigfoot 4x4. We're really proud of that. It's a lot of work and time and effort that goes in behind the scenes, making sure everything's correct and getting the approval to make something licensed like this. And Fred, you did a lot of the layout on these decals.
Right.
We'd get them in. We'd work on some of the design aspects of the decals. We'd place them on the body, check out the how they fit, and all the necessary things you got to do. And talk to us about kind of going through that process of cutting them out and getting our sizing and making it look kind of like the real truck.
Right. It's just not taking a picture of a real truck and then shrinking down decals. You kind of have to get the size right, especially with the types of molds that we're using. You want to try and scale those decals just right to make it look like the 1/1. Not necessarily every time just taking a photo of it, shrinking it down is going to work. You actually have to sit there, get your initial printout of decals, cut them out, lay them out on the body, and then see if it's going to actually look right.
And I think one of the other things is our very first body here, we wanted to start with something that was being used right now in competition.
Right.
This is a truck, Bigfoot 21, that's was really active in 19 when it could be in 20, and then I'm assuming here in 2021 as soon as a lot of these events start back up.
Right.
But this is the paint scheme they run with the Summit Racing logos right on the side. And Fred, talk to us about kind of seeing this truck. You've seen the real one in person too. We've been there to the Bigfoot shop several times. They've had the trucks there, and it's got a little bit of a familiar paint scheme and design to the Summit Racing truck, but it's also got a little bit of difference, between some of the other Bigfoot trucks.
Right. This here kind of utilizes the red, white, and blue. It's kind of a really nice patriotic body. It also goes along the lines with the Summit Racing, the red, white, and blue in their decal work. So it has a really nice flow to it, really trick looking, and super excited to have this one coming out as our first Bigfoot body.
And we have our original, our 2010 Ford Raptor, which we've run a bunch. People love that for the RC monster trucks, and what we wanted to do is kind of an update. 10 years difference. It seems like it's gone by so fast, but now we got the 2020 year model here, which is what's being used on the Bigfoot truck, and then kind of in the circuit they use this trophy truck style body.
Right. Everything's kind of new and fresh, kind of what goes along the lines in the RC world. New car comes out, you want a new fresh body for it, new look, design, and we did the same here with the Raptor.
What I really like about this body is it has really carved in decals, places to put the decals, like on the grill in the front, and then up top we got this hood scoop, and we have some really hard edge lines on the hood of this body. And then we have the pronounced wheel well flares, which, with the monster trucks, they have to be bigger than they are on a real truck. And we tried to accommodate that. We tried to make it look like the real truck, but at the same time, tried to accommodate it for a monster truck and then the RC truck.
Right. That's one thing that's, Bigfoot has been famous for over the years is, the bigger wheel wells. They're not just, cut out on the fiberglass. It's actually molded into the type of the design of the truck. Makes it look more fitting.
Yeah. And, that's what's really looks good about this body is, we got the pronounced fenders, then there's a fender flare.
Right.
And then we move your way back, and then we got the panels here in the back where before it was just sort of a puffier version of, a standard F-150, but now we have a whole nother panel that's kind of raised out on this thing that's kind of that 2020 look.
Yeah, a little more streamlined design, I would think.
Yeah, and you go to the bed on this truck, and we got a really flat bed on here, which on our truck we got this clear because in real life it's really not there, but we got that clear. We got the tailgate area clear, but it could be painted. You could go flat black, anything to make it look like a cover or anything like that.
Right, pretty much to whatever your imagination comes up with.
So along with Bigfoot here, we got a host of different decals that are on this sheet, and a lot of the sponsors that are associated with the truck, we went ahead and we got those on the sheet because that's a big part of their program. And Fred, I know working with the full size monster trucks and stuff like that. Having these decals and these sponsors are just so important to having the team put together.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Firestone we have on there, Summit, readily available, and you can see it on there. And there's all the other sponsors that follow, contribute to the program, to keep the trucks running, and keep everything going. It's really important to have them on there and represented on the bodies.
So what we did with this sheet is it's actually pre-cut around the decal, where lots of times, like our headlights and tail lights, normally you have to cut those out yourself. But on these, we went ahead and had it pre-cut. And I know, Fred, you've kind of gone on and off with these decals a bunch on our different bodies. And
right.
Talk to us about how you would go about applying these decals to, and it doesn't have to be this paint job. They can do any paint job they want. But to put the actual decals on the body, how do you go about doing that so they look the best, and kind of fingerprints and all that type of thing?
Yeah, a lot of it's by eye. A lot of it, just hitting the easy button, having the pre-cut decal saves a lot of time and a lot of effort. Sometimes I'm there with the X-Acto cutting these things out, and it's really difficult, and you want to have a real nice trim line around those things. But yeah, the smaller decals is pretty much you can eye them up to where you need them to be and stick them on. If you make a mistake, you can lightly just pull it off. You just don't slap the decal on it and press it on. You kind of line it up to where it needs to be, and then you press it on. Some of the larger decals you can use like an alcohol and water-based type solution just to keep it from bonding right away, and then you could just easily work out make the adjustments and work out all the air bubbles. So it really makes that nice painted on look.
So we were fortunate enough to get this Losi LMT, and since then we've been making sure all our bodies that we're advertising to this truck go on the truck. You've been doing a lot of work with mounting these bodies. This truck comes with a cage.
Right.
Typically we're taking the cage off for a pickup style body like we've done here.
Yep.
So you went ahead and mounted this thing up on the truck, but it also fits on the Axial, the SMT10, and the Losi LMT are kind of our two trucks that are kind of our go-to models at this point.
Yeah, our go-to trucks. This one here, of course, like you said, we took off the roll cage on this one, especially if we're going to race it. We don't need all that extra weight up top on the truck. We like always keeping our CG low. But they had the available body mounts that come with the kit. It worked out really nice as far as mounting the body. It's really nice and clean. The body sits down on it really well. And looks great.
So if we were going to go ahead and take this body and off the LMT, when you go to the SMT, what we've done in the past is you gotta trim up behind the cab and a little bit into the bed, right, so the roll bars are exposed, because that truck has the full cage on the chassis.
Yeah, that truck has the full cage. I mean, I've seen people actually cut out some of those bars and just set the body down on it, but we like to keep the structure of the roll cage intact on that truck. So we do have we trace out an area in the bed and the back window there that we cut out, and then just little steps at a time to work it to where we need it to sit down over the cage properly.
Yeah, and this isn't limited to those two trucks. I mean, we got a 12.5 to 13 inch wheelbase here. We kind of give that window on the wheelbase because the way these monster truck bodies are on the real trucks is they actually make it so the wheel well kind of extends out the back, so there is some adjustability on this thing, so it doesn't have to be exactly 12.5 or exactly 13 or 13.5. There's some flexibility there. We mount the truck the body a little further forward, and like that is on the real truck, the rear is where it is, and that's how they run it on the real Bigfoot 21.
Yeah, and it's pretty much however you like it. I mean, you set the body on there, and then you make the mounting holes where you want the body to sit. You don't necessarily have to do it the way we do it.
So one of the other items we got on this truck is we got our tires and wheels on this thing, and Fred, you went ahead and kind of put this thing together. You kind of showed us how it how it looks with our tires on it, and we got some parts from Losi. And talk to us about how you made that conversion. Yeah,
we had the 12 millimeter hexes from Losi. We put those on the truck. Real simple changeover, and then we put our 25 millimeter adapters on there in the wheels, and it gives it just the right amount offset, to clear all your steering and all your linkages and stuff. And then I did a couple modifications to our wheel nuts to fit them on there. They are an M5 thread as opposed to an M4, so there's a little bit of work or adjustment to those. But basically, if you get an M5, locking nut without a flange, it should be able to fit right down on the bore of our adapters.
So yeah, for the guys that have these trucks, the Losi, it's kind of an easy conversion to put our wheels straight on it.
Right, a real easy process. Just got to maybe do a little thinking. Here, we did it for you. We're telling you right now.
So this is obviously a first body with the Bigfoot licensing, and we obviously got a lot of our own favorites out there that we want to replicate and be able to get out there for everybody to enjoy. But talk to us, Fred, a little bit about some of the ones maybe that you would like to see down the road, and everybody tell us which ones you'd like to see. I mean, obviously it's important in those comments. Throw in the Bigfoot design that you prefer or that's your favorite, and let's hear what you got, Fred. What's your favorite?
Well, I'm an 80s kid, so you're going to see if I have one, it's going to have an 80s style body on it. But Bigfoot 21 right here, it's up to date, looking really fresh. I love this one too.
So thanks everybody for joining us. Check out the Bigfoot 21 by JConcepts. New decal sheet, new body, new licensing agreement. We couldn't be more excited to get this out there for you. And thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.